Welcome to Robotech Battlecry. This is now my fourth attempt at doing this. Just want you guys to know that that's where we're at. I have recorded at least an hour of this 4
My
times now.
name is Jack Archer, and I'm a pilot of the Robotech Defense Force. I was born just before the global war. My parents died soon after the war began, so I had to learn how to survive on my own. Sometimes I wonder what kind of person I might have been if things were different. It's one of my darkest fears. If you took the war out of me, would there be anything left? The global war had been going on for a long time. All the experienced pilots were dead. My government was desperate, and the draftees started getting younger and younger.
Hold on a second.
I needed a way to escape all that misery on the ground, so I didn't mind much when I got drafted. Flight training came easy to me. It was like I was meant to be a pilot. They said I had a rare talent, but somehow I didn't see it that way. After a few years, the government dissolved. I became a mercenary, hiring out to any nation that could afford me. I didn't care, just so long as I stayed up in the clouds where I could forget about all the troubles down on Earth. The war ended in a single day. All it took was a miracle. A gigantic alien spaceship broke through hyperspace on a collision course with the Earth and crashed into a small island in the South Pacific called Macross Island. The leaders of the world's nations called a ceasefire and assembled the most brilliant minds of the time to examine the spaceship and assess the possible threat of alien invasion. The evidence they found pointed to a highly advanced civilization with technology far beyond what we had on Earth, something the scientists called robotechnology. But there was an even greater discovery. The scientists found a supply of protoculture aboard the ship, a new and nearly inexhaustible energy source used to power the alien machines. The spaceship was some kind of advanced warship, bristling with powerful weaponry. They called it the Super Dimension Fortress, or the SDF-1 for short. They began rebuilding the ship as they unlocked the secrets of robotechnology. After the arrival of the SDF-1, work kind of dried up for a while. With the war over, no one wanted to hire mercenaries. The world was at peace for the first time I can remember, and I was starting to get used to the idea. Those were happy times. I had been living in Macross City, helping to rebuild the SDF-1. I was just getting used to my new life when Roy Fokker, the legendary Skull leader himself, recognized me as I was getting off work. We had met a few times during the war. Sometimes I was on his side, and sometimes I flew against him. Over the years, we ended up forming a friendship. He told me he needed pilots to join a new military outfit called the Robotech Defense Force. Roy said they had some new kind of high-performance fighter that could beat anything I ever flew. They called it a Veritech. I made Roy prove it to me, fighter to fighter. Why did the military need a transforming fighter? It was well known that the aliens were warriors, but there was one detail that was kept from the public. In a top-secret debriefing, we were informed that evidence from the crash indicated the aliens were 40-foot-tall giants. The RDF developed the Veritech fighter to fight the aliens on their own terms. It would mean the difference between survival and extinction. After my training, I was stationed with the carrier Prometheus on Macross Island. On the day the final construction of the SDF-1 was completed, the entire city prepared to celebrate. That was when the Zentradi arrived. The SDF-1 belonged to them, and they were determined to take it back.
On the day the people of Macross Island were celebrating the completion of the SDF-1, the aliens in Trotty arrived in Earth's orbit. Determined to take back the space fortress, you have been dispatched to meet the threat head-on. Help Wolf and Skull squadrons turn back the alien threat.
We are under attack by alien invaders in Sector 412. This is not a drill. I repeat, this is not a drill. All forces proceed in battle formation.
Well, boys, you heard her. This is the real thing. Destroy all targets. We've got to cut them off before they reach Macross City.
I'm on my way, Roy.
Wolf Squadron, move to intercept invaders at Zone 428. Traffic's pretty heavy out here, so break formation, but try to keep each other covered.
Alright, boys. Oh god, I was hitting the wrong button. Now, if you can't tell from all of the stuff they were talking about previously, this is the very first moment we get to see the alien threat to Zentradi. Now, we're not playing as the original characters from the anime, we're playing as custom characters made for this story. We are meeting characters like Roy, who is the legendary Skull Leader and the most badass man ever. But as we progress through the story, there'll be entire arcs that are just missing, because they're completely different from what happens in the anime. So, like, key things that have to happen will happen, but this is its own custom story based off of the Zentradi War. It's along the lines of, like, MS-8, like, the MS-8 squad for, like, Gundam, where it's like, yeah, all those things happen, but this is what happens when it's, like, from an elite squad of badasses, or somebody else who's in on this situation. Like, pretty cool concept, actually. This is actually one of my, like, favorite games I've played in a while. And when I originally built this channel, like, almost 6 years ago, this is one of the one games I was just like, yo, I'm playing this. And then I kind of stopped for a while, because I realized I suck. But you know what? Now's today. Today we're doing this shit. Now, if you can't tell from a lot of the things I'm doing, you're constantly transforming and using your missiles and transformation abilities to move and turn. So, unlike an Ace Combat, where it's like super in-depth, this is kind of less so. But it does have a lot more movement capabilities. And each form has its own specialization, if you can't tell already from some of my movement. The Battlecry mode is a lot more flexible, but not as fast. Like, it's easier to turn. But the turning can be a problem, actually, because you're now stationary. So it's good as an offensive tool, but it's not as great to just do that, to just like turn around. But you can shoot missiles out of the sky in the Battlecry mode. Every one of these forms has its own different properties that are all OP in their own right. And you'll be seeing that as I get out of it. Like, this is basically a tutorial mission, if you can't tell.
Stay glued to that radar. This island is still crawling with bogies.
Rookie, I'm gonna make you eat those words.
Skull Leader calling Wolf 10. You've got more enemy readings in your area, and they're heading for those Sea Sergeant helicopters. Get out there and intercept them.
Gotcha. Yeah, but this is the first day of the war. And it's gonna, the first couple chapters, sprint through the story, for better or worse. Because there's, like I said, like, literally seconds ago, entire arcs get skipped. and concepts that are like key to this story, which I'll talk about as I go through. Hey, 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 hey. Yeah, missiles are just amazing in this game, so don't be afraid if you like download this or you decide you want to try this. Don't be afraid to waste your missiles. Unless you're trying to like go for high scores and stuff like that, then where accuracy and damage matter a lot more. Damn it. Woo! Ah, this is bad time to launch missiles. If you're trying to be accurate with your missiles, it's better to like treat it like an Ace Combat and like shoot like when you're directly behind them when they don't have like as many defensive options, but it's not necessary.
Skull leader to crew. You guys head back to the Prometheus. I've got some business to take care of in town.
SDF-1 control to Wolf Squadron. As soon as you are refueled and rearmed, proceed to Macross City to defend assigned sectors.
Alright, just continue. The Zentradi have bombarded the city from orbit. Their ground forces are continuing to destroy the city from within. After fighting the alien menace from the air, you have been sent to help save the battered city. Drive the alien guard forces around out of the city.
SDF-1 control to Wolf 10, an alien assault force is approaching from the west. Head into Zone 209 and secure the area. Check your heads-up displays and follow the arrow.
Hell yeah.
I'm on my way.
Now, there's a lot of in-city combat in this
Macross
game.
City wasn't made to accommodate anything the size of a Battlecry, so you're going to run out of room pretty fast. You new pilots should stick to Battloid mode until you develop your skills.
Well, we can't do that. She might be correct, but we're just gonna... But you don't learn from just hoping for the best, right? Can't be the best. Yep. No, I went too far ahead. Yep. Turn around. This mode is built for circle strafing and combat, by the way. You'll see it a lot through this playthrough if I'm playing well. Oh, I took that hit, lame. When I was a little kid, I remember being in Battlefield a lot more. Alright, a couple more guys coming around this house, I think. I just unloaded in that house, and that's the last place I wanted to do. Now you can strafe by like Mega Man Legends level of like holding L and R1. Not L and R1, but like L and R2. But that's mostly depending on what you're playing on. I'm trying to be more creative, but I'm actually taking a lot of hits because of it. I basically got untouched the first time I was doing this, and as I keep redoing it, I'm trying to... I'm not just dumping missiles into the fight, and it's getting me hit a lot more. I should probably just calm it down. Each thing, this even got a sniper mode, which is pretty sick, actually. Nope, nope, nope. We're gonna take their time there.
Looks like you've got this area under control, Wolf 10. There's a group of destroids requesting backup in Zone 214. Head over there and
Well, we'll get over there. We'll get over there. Now... There's something weird with the sound of, like, the boosters. It doesn't sound right. You see, you hear what I mean? It doesn't sound right. Yeah, the Battlecry can shoot missiles out of the air, so it's got pretty good defensive options. Your default missile button becomes objective. Like, it could shoot, since it could shoot those missiles out of the air, it's so valuable. It's like one of your few defensive options, especially in these scenarios, other than dodging. Yeah, we gotta get our offensive game on point here. I went too far ahead and basically I need like 6 fingers right now to like play. Because there's so many buttons you can hit to just constantly put work in. These guys are gonna be coming around the corner and I'm running out of missiles. They recharge, but I'm on my position. Oh god, someone's behind. Oh no, I'm messing up. Major mistakes here. Perfect. Nice. Yeah, see how I was randomly shooting off to the left side? That's because I was shooting the missiles coming from that side. Sergeant, alright.
The SDF-1 was able to escape the Zentradi attacks by executing a spacefold maneuver, which took most of the island along with it. I nearly got killed when that happened, and was in the hospital for months before I could fly again. After recovering from my injuries, they stationed me at Alaska base. All my friends from the academy were on board the SDF-1, and I wondered if I'd ever see them again. The SDF-1 didn't get a very warm reception when they returned. The United Earth government flatly refused to help them. They had survived for a year out in space, under constant attack by the Zentradi, only to be told that they weren't wanted back on Earth. Chiron, who was maybe the worst of the Zentradi warlords, continued to launch attacks on the SDF-1 after it returned home. When I heard that Roy Fokker had been killed, I visited the SDF-1 to attend his funeral. That's when Chiron chose to attack. Captain Gloval decided to test out a new barrier system they had developed, which enclosed the SDF-1 in a protective energy shield. It even worked, for a while anyway.
The evil Chiron is leading a large assault on the SDF-1. For the first time, the omnidirectional barrier system is used to protect the SDF-1. You are present to help the SDF-1, so it is in the time of need. Help the other Vertex defend the SDF-1 from attack. Alright, so if you can't tell, we skipped
It's good to see you
a
again, Jack.
massive
I wish it
arc.
were under better circumstances.
You just worry about those fighters. I'll try to keep you out of trouble.
Yeah, I got you, girl. I got your backup for you. We skipped the entirety of the space arc, which is one of the most influential parts of this series, is that they find the weakness of the Zentradi, which is that since they were born as a warrior race, like they were created, their natural weakness is that they have no ability to feel. And humans teach them how to feel throughout the space arc. Through everything from music to kissing, all this other stuff. Alright, I gotta pull off. I'm getting too close to that. Which kind of sucks, and it's like, okay, Roy died, all this other stuff. They really skimmed through this massive arc, but I guess it makes sense if our character is never going to be there, since he's not like Rick and he's not the new Skull Squadron and everything else. You're Jack Archer, you know? So we're here for some major moments, but we're not here for a year-long war in outer space. And we don't get to discover that the Zentradi, since they can't deal with emotion, like the OVAs deal heavily in like the fact that the Zentradi can't handle dealing with like love songs because it makes them feel. Which kind of goes into like a lot of Japan's like what is it? I'm trying to think how to say it. Well, fight all these enemies. You see, I'm taking a lot of damage every time I go into my robot form because I just become a sitting target. But idols, like their idol culture gets heavily represented by the fact that the music's defeating them. And it never becomes not a thing. Actually, my favorite OVA is about the I can't remember the name of it right now. Is like of the Robotech OVAs involves the fact that they develop as they progress as a culture. The Zentradi actually develop their own music to make them more powerful. Alright, I took a lot of hits.
That's right, folks. Smart, beautiful, and...
You're actually so cool right now, but oh well. So yeah, we skip a lot of arcs that the show goes through. So it's like, it's not ruining what the show does, but it does show another perspective of what's going on in this war. Which is actually cool, because it's now... Other than they don't accentuate some of the best parts of it. Ah, God, I'm just taking so many hits. Ah, I took another missile hit the moment I switched. I'm not getting anything on this right now. I'm just missing everything. My offense is awful right now. But the OVAs like deals with the fact that they learn like music of themselves, like operatic like music and all this, just to make themselves even more powerful and more of a threat through now harnessing their emotions as a weapon. It is like a way later arc. It is like one of the sickest concepts in this show, if you ask me. So they just made their weakness one of their best weapons they've ever had, and they almost destroy all of us.
Attention, all Battlecry fighters. Emergency. Evacuate the area immediately. The barrier system is about to chain react. You've got to get away from here, quick.
They don't even go into the fact that the SDF-1 is now called the Macross because the Macross city got taken away in the war, and... Oh.
Our worst fears were realized when an armada of Zentradi ships started folding into orbit around the Earth. When they had all arrived, millions of warships encircled our small planet. When the ships were in position, Dolza, supreme commander of the Zentradi, gave the orders to open fire and bombard the planet Earth. It was total devastation, on a scale even humans had never seen before. In seconds, everything I cared about was gone. If the SDF-1 had never arrived on Earth, billions of lives might have been saved. You might say that the battle was lost before it really began, but still, we fought on.